Hey guys, it's Pastor Sean with the Keep Your Chin Up podcast, where we provide help, hope, and resources through casual but courageous conversations. And one of those courageous conversations happens to be with our guest, Sharika Newell, that is the founder of president of Jewel's House Incorporated. And Dan, y'all know this guy. He worldwide already. Certified peer specialist, light worker Wayne. And let's get it. See, so we're actually in this series. The series is called Dear Mama. So this is the second episode of a series called Dear Mama. And today we're speaking with Miss Sharika about the challenges of losing a son to this crisis that we're dealing with, mental health, this mental health crisis that we're dealing with. So we're going to go ahead and turn it over to, did I say turn it over to? We ain't turn it over to, hold on, wait a minute. So you are the president of Jewel's House. Where you from?
I'm born and raised here in Atlanta.
Born and raised here in Atlanta, okay.
Atlanta,
this guy right
A-Town.
Upbringing.
Peace up.
So if we was to ask you about your upbringing, how was your upbringing, young girl, to this point?
Well, my grandmother was a member of Ebenezer Baptist Church. So that's where my mother
a historical church now?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where my grandmother raised her kids, in that church. And then my mother became a Jehovah's Witness. So that's how we were raised. I have two other siblings, and I'm the middle child. So we have a very religious background.
Very religious background. Cool. So how do we get here to where you got kids, you're married, you're not married, you hanging out, what we doing?
Hey,
You're a business owner?
I'm a business owner. I try to stick to the script, and I got married young. I planned my life. I planned to have all my kids by the same man, and hey, life doesn't go as you planned.
Okay.
So my firstborn was from my husband, and I have a second son that was born 5 years after, and he's autistic, and then I have an 8-year-old daughter.
Okay.
So how I got here is that 2021, my eldest son had a very hard breakup, and he didn't take it well, and he ended up calling off from work and asking for a mental health day. So that was the red flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, mental health day, like I never even thought about anything like that. He was a very happy person. He graduated with honors, went off to college, met a young lady, and then when that breakup happened, it kind of took him to a dark place. He didn't know how to cope. Mm-hmm. He didn't know where he could go to get the help or the resources that he needed to deal with a broken heart, or deal with knowing how to deal with a woman. His father had never been around. His father died when he was a year old. So that's how the even thought of Jewel's House started, because of my own personal.
Got you. What's your son's name? Because we got to make sure we
my
keep
son's
his
name is Julian Newell, but everyone called him Jules. So that's how I got the name Jewel's House.
Wow, wonderful. But again, at this point, it's a situation that we all go through, these breakups and stuff, and sometimes we don't look at them as traumatic situations when they're life changing, and just like that, without your permission, in most cases, we don't chalk it up as tragedy, and so we don't know how to even handle them well. So when that happened, was there anything that I want to say led up, not really led up to it, but did you notice any differences in any change in mood or anything like that, or was he just really happy-go-lucky with the relationship?
Well, the thing is that he met the young lady through my youngest son, and the young lady was just not a good person. She was the type to cut. And, she had issues herself.
She was a cutter.
Oh,
wow.
And so they both were going through things and didn't know how to cope. So that was my whole mission, that to form a foundation where people can come and have relatable things and find ways to cope with heartache because I've been suffering with heartache since I was 20 years old when I lost my husband. So life has been my coping mechanism. I just have to keep putting one foot forward. I've never spoken to a counselor, a therapist, or anything. So,
is it because of that stigma that we have in the black community? Speaking to a counselor, a therapist, you declare weak or crazy or something like that.
Or just not being able to take the time, the self-care.
Oh, my
not
goodness.
Having the time, you still have to be the mother, you still have to be the backbone, you still have to keep it pushing. So
wow. So when you say you lost your husband at 20, in a tragic situation or?
my husband was a disabled veteran, and he had a health situation where he had to go in and have surgery, and he made it out of surgery, but after that he got sedated, or however medical induced coma is what they call it, and he never woke back up.
Oh wow.
So
you had
it
to
was
deal
like
with this as a 20-year-old.
Right, just had my son by him and lost him. So
Wow. Man, sorry to hear that. So if we take this thing just at face value, like we often do, without sitting down having this conversation with you, we think and we isolate it to just the one thing, which is Jewel. You know, we isolated to that, not understanding that, you know, even yourself as a mom has already gone through some traumatic stuff, and to have to, we always say that we want our children to bury us and stuff like that. The natural order of things. And so we was thinking through like diagnosis and him, you know, in the earlier part before we got to making this decision, if you saw any red flags or anything like that.
Well, the thing is that he called in from work and asked for a mental health day. Then he proceeded to stay home. That day, he played with the dog, he played with his sister, he communicated with me, he set up the internet, and then he just disappeared. Then I get a call, and they're telling me it's from his job. The manager's like, Julian just left here. Is anything missing from your house? And I'm like, no. She said, well, he says he has your gun, and he's going to. And I'm like, oh my God, what? Where is he? So now I'm calling his phone. And he ended up in Douglasville, and Douglasville asked him, "Hey, do you want help, or we're gonna have to take you to jail?" And he told me he wanted help.
That was the police department in Douglasville.
The police department in Douglasville offered him help or to be arrested, and he told him, "Yes, I want help." So from there, he went to a mental facility, and the mental facility called me. And now my son is 23 years old, so they can't share me his patient, his rights. They can violate his rights.
Confidentiality.
Right. So they told me we're going to keep him for about 48 hours, 72 to 48 hours, and if it's deemed necessary, we'll keep him longer. So they called me after 2 days and said, we're going to keep him, but still not telling me what the depths are. What are you diagnosing with? What are you treating him for? They never told me anything. So about 5 days later, they released him and brought him home to me. And that's when we had a argument or whatever. Police was called, and police told him just to go somewhere for the evening. And I never saw my son again.
Wow.
See, the mental health facility, like they should have mentioned a release of information form. Something that way you could have been still tied into that. Because I understand legally, in the mental health profession, whether you're a therapist, counselor, certified peer specialist, you got to operate in the laws of HIPAA and client confidentiality. But there's a form, a release of information form. That way, if you want to have your mother or someone else involved, that they fill that out, and then they have to notify you that.
Right. And
So
we don't
that
know
was
this. We don't know this.
Yeah, exactly.
Just regular citizens, we don't know the resources or anything. I would have liked to have known what they diagnosed him with. Is he, bipolar, or I'm not sure. And then reading I went back. I'm a surviving spouse of a veteran, so I went back and got my husband's records, and I saw that he had mental health issues. So this could have been hereditary.
So you never knew before that?
Never knew.
Wow.
So it's deep. It could come from anywhere. Like I dad, and I couldn't understand why, you know, certain holidays like Father's Day would be sad.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, the norm in America is that a lot of kids grow up without their father. And I just put them in that box. You know, like, how can you miss something you never had? You're old, but he really, it affected him. And I had no idea.
Wow. You know, and it's you know, as we segue, man, that's the reason for Healing Haven of Atlanta, is that, you know, I tell our guys, we all come from somewhere. So if there's an opportunity for you to, if your dad is still alive, you have an opportunity to talk to him, because there's always two sides to every story.
Right.
And in this case, he didn't have dad around. But, you know, in it is still putting a positive male figure in their life, in their path. And those things are so important for a young man.
Right.
So important for a young man. And unfortunately, you know, as you, I guess, got used to living and being a single mom, that you probably didn't have room for it yourself. But it's so important that these guys have a positive role model and male figure in their lives, because most of the time, again, we don't think we need it.
Right.
We don't think we need it, and then but the other part is because we hurt. And the other part is the pride. The other part is the abandonment. We feel like I wasn't good enough for my dad to stick around or for him to even care. So we're dealing with all these underlying issues of abandonment and self-worth, and our identity is tied up in what we don't know, because like you said, if dad wasn't around, you can't miss what you don't have.
Right.
But then we do, as we search for identity, we're looking for that strong male role model,
right?
Somebody to help talk us through this thing called life and being a young man.
Well, my thing is that I thought I had kind of won the battle. I raised two black men, no criminal activity, no drug activity, graduated high school, Frederick Douglass, West Side, their whole, you know, school career, and they didn't fall into those traps that, you know, the hood traps that are there, you know, not having babies at a young age, like I said, drugs, alcohol, none of that. So I thought I had won the battle.
Wow.
But I needed that support system I still need. Wayne is helping me with my 21-year-old, because a mother can't give a young man what they need to know how to cope in this world, to deal with young ladies, to just be a man. I can teach him what I know, but I don't know that. I can't even pretend to know what it takes to be a man. And then you're taught to not show your emotions. Be a man, man up. So when you're hurting, where do you go?
Wow. And that's one of the main things, like, especially in our community, in the black community, man. When the men, we're taught this, hold the emotions. We end up holding all this until something happens to tick Sean off. Then he ends up exploding.
Then I got an explode. I need an outlet.
You need an outlet. We got to get it out. And that's whether through arts, crafts, music, poetry, exercise, speaking it, or what we're doing now. What Healing Haven is doing, what the Chinn podcast is doing, being a support group for the community, so they can talk and relate.
Wow. Just think, because most of the time, when we don't have that opportunity to communicate and just get it out without somebody back at us and having something to say, I just need to get it out. Just let me get it out, and I'm straight, I'm fine. Because most of the time when we talking, we wind up getting to where we need to get, as long as we can get it out. But as long as I can't get it out, I can't sift through the end result of all of this stuff. So it's still bottled up, or somebody telling me what they think versus what I got really going on in me.
What you're feeling is valid.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: the argument that you guys had, I'm sure that it was a run of the mill. Y'all, this wasn't nothing new. This argument.
We never had an argument. The argument was because my sons aren't they weren't sociable. They do a lot of online things. They're in the metaverse and they're on the PlayStation 5s and they meet young ladies online.
Oh.
So me saying that is that's a negative for me because of what happened. They met a young lady. She was, that triggered his thoughts and feelings.
Right. Wow.
And the house in Jules' house is for hands-on youth and prevention. I started because I don't want any families to experience what me and my family felt to. I can't even say get the call because I never got the call.
Really?
I never got the call.
Wow.
So
How did you learn of it?
It was December 10th. I started getting direct messages through Facebook and Instagram, and they were asking me, "Hey, are you Julian's mom? You need to contact a certain county." And I contacted that county, and they asked to identify me. And I'm like, well, I can't say I'm doing a missing person because he's an adult.
Right.
And I don't think he's missing, but someone is telling me to contact you guys, so I need to know. Do you
So
have
this is just out of the blue?
Out of the blue. So they were like, yeah, I gave them my driver's license number. They identified me, and it was like, oh, yeah, your son killed himself last night.
Wow. Wow.
To not be able to hold his hand in the time he needed me most. To not be able to help him
Wow.
at his weakest moment broke my heart.
Wow. Wow. Sorry that you
Yeah,
had to go through that, man.
it's hard, but it's like I have to keep moving because I do have the two surviving kids. They don't know how to cope with it.
Yeah.
It's something I wouldn't wish on anyone. To lose an older sibling, that's the one who's supposed to show you the ropes.
Yeah. Wow. And it seemed as if the sensitivity part of this was lost. In communication, man. How do you reach out to somebody and just that's it?
That's it.
I was telling you about this mental health first aid training that I just went through, and to become certified in being a listening ear, but having the right words and the right actions and the right position and the right posture and the right compassion and the right empathy, the right sympathy, all while being direct.
Preach.
That's what I learned in this thing. So in it, we do have a lot of law enforcement that are not trained in that sensitivity part, and this is just a run-of-the-mill situation. How are you going to approach a mother
like that?
I
don't even think it's a sensitivity issue. If we're going to be honest about it, I think it's a race issue because I feel like if my son had been another race, they would have helped him. We teach our kids if you're ever in trouble, you feel uncertain about the situation, call 911.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I got the response that, hey, he wanted us to as if they did me a favor.
Wow.
He wanted us to kill him. We were scared. We didn't want our reputation on the line. And the thing is that my son was at his job. He was in the parking lot at the job next to his car, and he was actually lured from the job to a dirt field and left. You're going to tell me it's a black man way over there with a gun. You came 15 officers deep. You left a black man with a gun on the scene, and then you went on with your shift. You clocked out for the evening. You went home to kiss your wife and your kids. Came back home the next day and still didn't contact me.
Wow. Oh, we didn't know it was this deep.
Yeah, it's that deep.
My goodness. Oh, man.
So I'm on a mission. It's my life mission to get justice for my son. I feel I don't want to offend anyone, but it's the strongest, weakest thing you could do. Because life is so, out of all the tragedies that I've experienced, life is so worth living. You have to see the beauty in life. It's a beautiful world.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a beautiful world.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just some evil in it.
Yeah. Well, you know, let me jump in real quick because I sought therapy and counseling, and it worked wonders for me. I remember, you know, being in a situation of where I messed up bad, and I wasn't ready to face it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so was, you know,
The way out.
Was the way out for me to not have to face it and face this person. And Holy Spirit says, people get over stuff. In the midst of me thinking through how I'm going to execute this thing, because I can't face this person with the decision that I made, and it was really disappointing and letting this person down. Holy Spirit said, people get over stuff.
Right.
You know the freedom that came with that? Because absolutely, because here I am getting ready to, over a moment, try to off myself because I didn't want to admit that I messed up and I failed. Holy Spirit had to remind me of that. People get over stuff.
That's powerful.
And so
some things don't have to be fixed.
Absolutely. But when we make that thing and we give all of that energy to that moment, oh my goodness.
It's overwhelming. I could not imagine, because I you know, we all go through tough things, but I can't ever say that I had been where my son was or where you were. And I can say that I am guilty of not having that listening ear.
Yeah.
You know, we can't do the rewind or replay.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have known how deep the pain was.
Yeah. So let me ask, you know, your other kids, how were they coping right now?
Well, my 8-year-old at the time was a baby, so she had a relationship with him, but they were 18 years apart.
Yeah.
So all she knows is that he's not here, and she always says, well, I'll get to see Julian again one day. So the reality for her is that life goes on, you know, as a baby. It's kind of good. But my other son, that was his big brother, and they were like peas in a pod.
Yeah.
And I want my son now to be able to express himself freely to me. I don't want him to feel like, you know, he can't. And then I have the guilt of not wanting to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing because I don't want to have to experience this grief again. I don't want my son to even use that as a crutch, like mom's not going to make me do anything because we've lost Julian. Mm. So I can kind of skate and do what I want type stuff. But I feel like Elijah needs counseling. One, he has trust issues because I had some real life Cain and Abel type stuff going on in my house about this young lady. Mm. And I couldn't believe it. And I actually sat down with my boys and was like, it's not a good look. Both of y'all leave this young lady alone. Yeah. It's not going to end well. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with my current son. I want him to be able to get out here and explore what it is to be a young man in the city. Get a job, get gainfully employed, and then worry about a relationship.
Yeah.
Because the relationship part, these young men aren't equipped to know what's going on.
Thank you, KJ.
So that's where I'm at. I'm reaching out to you, Sean, and you, Wayne, as a support system because I know not only my foundation needs you guys' help, but personally, I need your help.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how are you coping with this great loss? Because it's a big loss.
I don't know how I'm coping. I get up and move one foot forward every day. I have my bad days.
Because it's a big loss.
I don't know how I'm coping. I get up and move one foot forward every day. I have my bad days, but
you still haven't sought out counseling or therapy yet?
No, because I'm so busy.
Yeah.
I'm so busy being a mom, like being an entrepreneur, and just.
No. Sean, is isn't there like a word that we could, because when we're dealing with, cases of someone losing someone, this is like where we really need to tap into the spiritual, our faith, the power of God, really helping us, man,
That's my main mission for Jules House is faith, food, and family. Mm-hmm. So I partner and I sow a seed with the Hope Ministries, Victory in Christ, and I sow a seed bi-weekly, and then I'm able to go out to the community and feed over 100 families every 2 weeks out of the month. So I feel like if I can feed them through nourishment, and then we can reach out to the faith-based organizations in the community and get the faith fulfillment.
Yeah.
I can do the food. I can get the guys in the community to come in with the faith. And that's how we can build a stronger family and community. So.
Yeah, you know what usually happens in situations like this is we wound up doing things in our own strength. We wound up trying to compensate for that loss, and so now we jump out there, and not that it's a bad thing, but every coach needs a coach,
right.
Which means we all need somebody that's pouring into us spiritually, mentally, emotionally, because eventually what winds up happening is you're physically going to get tired. You're physically going to burn out. And when that happens, now all of this stuff that you've been putting off, it comes at you all at once.
Right.
And so as a believer, you believe Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. I know you say you was Jehovah's Witness. I'm messing with you.
I can read the Bible with the best of them.
My point in that is saying, even in this, that all things work together for the good to those that love God and that are called according to His purpose. Our life is not our own. Our kids don't belong to us. We're here, we shepherd with His instructions, His directions. But the purpose part of it, I think I had texted you, about this before, like, not being insensitive because this is a loss, but it's His game. Right? So in it, we're still left here with fragmented pieces. We're still left broken, and God always wants to make us whole. We're never going to get that through just service. It's got to be unto Him to where we can get clarity, and then we can get to a position of being free, even in the midst of tragedy and stuff like that. So that counseling and that therapy will, in my opinion, remember, I'm a married man, 5 children, 3 grandkids. My father wasn't in my life. My mother wasn't in my life. So I had a whole lot of deficits that said I should have been in jail. I should have been in prison. I should have not even have a wife. I shouldn't have a kid. I shouldn't run this organization. There was so much that was stacked up against me. I shouldn't be educated. I shouldn't have went to college. All of these things that God has allowed and afforded through the negativity.
Right. All things for your good.
There you go.
All things for your good.
There you go.
Yes.
But my point in even saying that was that it was when I went to therapy and counseling that I started seeing the man outside of the mission. Right? So even though we have a purpose, we still need to see that little girl. We still need to deal with the tragedy, the traumatic stuff that happened, and all of those things, because again, the freedom that comes along with that. And it's, again, man, so proud of you for Jules House to, in the midst of your pain, to still say, you know what, instead of going and running and ducking and hiding, I'm going to find a way to give back and praise Him anyway.
Right.
That's to be commended.
That's my faith. If I wasn't a faithful Christian, I never would have made it. How can you they say lean not to your own understanding. Yeah. How can you understand losing a child? There's no way you can wrap your head around it. No way. So to God be the glory that I still have air in my lungs to not only help the remaining children that I have in my home, but to also help my community. That's our job. That is our job, to help the community, better the earth, leave it better off than it was
when we was here.
Thank you.
Yeah. And personal self-care is important. Support for them. Like you said, we've already tapped in with Lightworker Wayne. And also for your daughter, we're going to have to, so even though she might not be saying it, she's still experiencing loss also. And so
that's another thing. How do we get the kids that can't express themselves or how they're feeling help? I don't know how to help my 8-year-old cope with losing her brother. I don't know.
But it's still organizations that's out here to help deal with grief and all of that stuff. Notice that a lot of times when they're dealing with stuff in school, they had a accident or death or whatever.
They have a grief counselor.
They have a right on spot.
Right.
Before they even go home, they already got them assigned to somebody and stuff like that. Because what we don't realize is that stuff lingers. It might not affect you right now, but then when we get to ourselves and by ourselves and in these confined spaces, this stuff starts coming up. And we thought that we outran it.
I want to deal with it. I want to meet it head on because I can't go out here and try to save the world and destroy it. And my own home is in disarray, or I'm fighting a life battle not only in the streets but in my home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would be remiss to say that my mission is to help the world and not help my own family.
Yeah.
See, that's the importance of a community.
Right.
Yeah.
Because therapists needs therapists.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Coaches need coaches. So this is how, when we operate in a community that operates kind of in a space of a circle, Sean helps me, I help you, you help Sean, it's a circle.
Right. I know it's cliche, but it does take a village. It takes
Absolutely.
Especially with these kids now.
Absolutely.
It takes a village.
And my sister, you met my young sister, she said that, we think, hey, it takes a village, and we have the village. We just need to use it.
Yeah. You there you go. I like that you said that. We have it, we have to use it. And then I'm gonna look right in this camera and say, be responsible, be accountable, be committed, be loving, be all of those things. If you run a mentorship program, you be that man that you say you are. You be that man that's missing from that household. You don't be trying your stuff out on somebody else's child. You have you together first, and it's okay that it's going to take you some time to go ahead and get in the mentorship space, because what we don't need is broken men trying to lead broken young boys. We need you to be whole to where you can maximize your authority in your leadership. See, what we have right now is a bunch of guys that are not able to maximize their leadership because they're doing one thing here but something else over there.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
And these young kids today, they pick up on that game, recognized game.
Yeah.
So with us, again, I'll even say me being responsible and accountable. Be about what you say you're going to be about. That mission over there, say helping real people through real problems with real resources, that means we ain't playing no games with none of this.
Standing on business.
Standing on business.
Okay.
Standing on that mission right
Stand
there.
on business.
So I'm so glad that, again, you was able to come on. And we'll talk about the importance of self-care, not only for yourself, but also for your son and for your daughter. That is important, but more so, again, for you, because you're leading your household. That we can't be so busy doing everything else that we're not taking care of ourselves.
We leave ourselves out.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because that's a recipe for disaster.
What you just said, like, what was the saying? You're only as strong as your weakest.
Link. Yeah, something.
Or you could say, steel sharpens steel.
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens
Right.
iron.
And it's like, it's so many resources out here. I want to be on the mega speaker just saying, help is here.
Yeah.
Help is here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. We have to receive the help. It's out here. So give us again your nonprofit's mission and its mission. We want to again highlight what you're doing and to be able to put it out here to again allow people to be able to be a blessing to you, be a blessing to your nonprofit, be a blessing to your community, but more specifically be a blessing to your family during this transition, because that's what's happening right now.
Okay. Well, like I said, my foundation is a nonprofit 501c3, Jules House Inc. We're located at 6398 Highway 85 in Riverdale, Suite A1. I have counseling services, life coaches. What did Dwayne say he was?
Certified peer specialist.
Okay, certified peer specialist. This guy over here. We have our bi-weekly food drive. My mission is faith, food, and family. And anyone in need of help or or experiencing suicide, I have a website, juleshousinc.com. You can go on there anonymously and give tips, whether it's for yourself or for a family member that's struggling with mental health or thinking of having thoughts. You can reach out to my website, like I said, juleshousinc.com, or call the office. The number there is 706-343-7493. I'm here. The help is here.
Help is here. Wonderful. Thank you very much. So what do you want that mother who is experiencing the same thing, what do you want her to know?
That it's not your fault. We as mothers, we do the best. Like they say, parenting doesn't come with a handbook. Humble yourself and be a listening ear, because sometimes we kind of block it out and we're not hearing what's really going on in our homes. Everything is right there for you to see, and if you could just listen a little more, be a little bit more compassionate. Mothers with sons, don't think it's a bad thing for your son to express himself or be emotional, or just show who they really are. You know, a lot of people walk around with masks on, so I just want every family to feel free in expression. And the mother to not only love on her kids, but listen.
Love and listen. I have a thing here that says paying attention to our children's verbal and nonverbal communication.
It's right there for you to see.
It's right there, and you said it. Mm-hmm. It's right there for you to see. We just have to be intentional about slowing down enough to be able to see that. And you know, traditionally it was happening around the table, you know, during dinner and stuff like that. But we are so much on the go now, to where it still doesn't, again, excuse us from the opportunity of seeing what's going on in their phone, seeing what's going on in their life. I had to tell mine the other day, I'm the father. Even though she's 27 years old, I'm the parent, you know? So in this, you know, there's still rules and regulations, and there's still a way that you have to govern yourself. So while we're talking about respect, make sure that we keep that in alignment, that I'm dad and your daughter, and we're not this close, yelling and cussing and fussing, because you know that can't be. Right. That can't be. It's disrespectful. But what can be is that we respect each other's time, respect each other's space, respect what we're going through at the time, to be able to say, this is what's going on, and this is how we're going to work and maneuver through it. Right. Now we can move from there. So, again, the verbal and nonverbal, paying attention to that, especially if they're in your household. And thank you so very much for coming on the show, man. And dear mama, because I know you have expressed so much being proud of your son, and to lose him that way, and to not have all of the answers. And all of that is I hurt, and so I can only imagine. So we're praying that God again continues to lead and guide you through this tumultuous time, and also to where again you'll pour into you'll get that time, and make sure our little ones do the same.
My brother, yes, I know.
Cool. So you want to leave them anything, Wayne? Leave them your handle. Where you at on social media, dog? Tell them all your social media stuff.
So, Light Worker Wayne, spelled as the light, then worker, then Wayne. I'm a certified peer specialist, mental health clinician, motivational speaker. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, IG, spelled exactly. And if you have a child, or if you yourself is dealing with feeling like you might want to delete yourself, Google the mental health crisis number. It's there, and you could call and you could be able to talk to somebody. Don't hold it in. Find support. Your mental wealth is more important than the dollar bill, than that type of wealth.
Okay.
Wonderful. So, hey, y'all tap in with my good brother Sean, Healing Haven of Atlanta, doing real things, helping real people through real problems with real resources. This man is the truth, man. Cool. Chin Up Podcast. Hey,
chin up, mothers.
Hey, gotta keep your chin up, man.
Appreciate it. Where can these people reach you at?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well, Jules House Inc. Like I said, we're in the ministry. We're in the field. You can catch me this Friday. 2195 Highway 138, full drive, 11 to 4.
Full drive, okay. Appreciate y'all time. Appreciate y'all coming in again to be able to add validity to what we have going on here, helping, I was going to say real people. I was going to give them that. Provide help, hope, and resources through casual but courageous conversations. And man, so thankful to be able to have this platform to be able to do this. So y'all tune in next time. Y'all know them Chinn girls is coming up on the 31st. So, y'all gonna be in the Chinn's household to kind of see what's going on over there. So y'all go ahead and tune in. We'll have this episode out this week. And again, appreciate your time. Peace.